Twins, they can't bust out the Brooms in Game 3 versus KC for the sweep. They do lose in extras today, but still take down the series 2-1. Full deep dive coming up next on the Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast, your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins postcast episode right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. That's your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Main man with me, Sweet Lou Hennesey. Give him a follow on X at Sweet Lou MN. Twins expert, by the way, over at Zone Coverage MN.com. 16-3 in their last 19, Sweet Lou. Does it feel like this is the real version of the Twins we've gotten these last 22 games, or is it like last year after their 12-game win streak that kind of turned out to be a mirage after they kind of fell apart? The wheels fell off at the end.
I think chances are it's going to be someplace in the middle. They're not going to be as bad as they were to start the season or how they finished last season. Maybe we're seeing kind of the best ball that they are going to play all year. Who knows? But I do think that this version of the Twins is closer to what people expected coming into the season. I think the pitching has been mostly up to standards, especially in the starting rotation there, and that bullpen continues to be a true force. We're starting to see some kind of semblance of an offense coming to the surface here, but as we can see from today's game, it's still inconsistent, to say the least.
Lots to get into. Biggest turning point in today's game, preview of the Tampa Bay series. That starts tomorrow. But first, quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download that Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. A quick little recap. Again, Bailey Ober on the mound for this one. If you missed that, he was great. 6 2/3, just one earned run on the day, 7 hits allowed, but again, just one earned run. It's all tied up at ones after Ty France's RBI single. That was in the first. Kind of a long, boring game if you like a lot of runs scored. We go to extras, all tied up 1-1. KC does take the lead 2-1. Bottom 10, last chance. You had Royce Lewis, Cody Clemens, Brooks Lee, all at the chance, but everybody comes up short. You can't tie it back up. So Twins lose Game 3, but still take down the series again, 2-1, 29-23 now on the year. Sweet Lou, biggest takeaways, topics, maybe today in Game 3 or just this 3-game series as a whole. Haven't talked to you in a couple days. What stuck out the most today or over the last couple days in this series that's kind of at the top or the forefront of your mind?
I think we're starting to see some really good energy at the ballpark, both in the clubhouse and in the stands. I think they had back-to-back days of 30-plus fans in the stands, which is great to see, especially with how low the attendance numbers were in April. And when it comes to the team here, I think the plane ride obviously would have been very, very fun if they would have pulled through with their third consecutive walk-off or even just came out with a win today. Wasn't meant to be. I think they're still going to travel to Tampa Bay tonight in a pretty good mood, going 3-2. Or what was it? 3-1 over the week. Well, I forget. Anyway, but taking 1 from Cleveland and obviously having a few rainouts, and then taking 2 from Kansas City. That's probably leaving you still feeling pretty good on the plane ride to Tampa tonight.
Yeah, everybody we're still confused about that Cleveland series. You had one double header day. You had one that was postponed all the way back to September, I want to say. And then, you take 2 versus KC. So 1-1 versus Cleveland, and then you take 2 out of 3 versus KC for sure. Let's get into the biggest turning point from today's game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So again, kind of long, boring game, tied up 1 apiece. But from your eyes, right, today's biggest turning point from Game 3, when was it and why?
When I was thinking about today's show, I was really hoping that I was going to be able to say the turning point was when Kris Bubic came out of the game. He was really good for the Kansas City Royals. He's been one of the best pitchers in the American League in the month of May so far. I think he's started like 5 games with an ERA under 1, and he looks pretty nasty today. Hence the Twins not being able to tag anything together really. But I think the true turning point, as disappointing as it was right at the end of the game. I was hoping that Brooks Lee was going to be able to pull through. A base hit would have scored 2 there in all likelihood, with Harrison Bader in scoring position 2 at second base. So I think that was the turning point, and the Royals got it done tonight instead of the Twins.
Yeah, just looking at the final box score, Twins only 3 hits today. Jeffers 1 for 3, Ty France 1 for 4, and Trevor Larnach pinch hit 1 for 1. Everybody else, Correa 0 for 4, Royce Lewis 0 for 3, Cody Clemens pinch hit 0 for. I guess he got walked, in extras. But sure. Jeff Bry 0 for 3, Brooks Lee 0 for 4. Yeah, a tough day at the plate. As the comments show, offense was dry today for sure, to say the least. Plenty more deep dive nerdy stat of the day. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Why I love FanDuel. When you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can go check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Getting some MLB future action while you're there. Twins were like plus 290 to win the AL Central before they got hot. Now they're sitting at plus 150. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, sweet Lou. Nerdy stat of the daytime. Any crazy stat, fun analytic, Twins related, could be about today's game, could be about the series, could be about this, again, 16-3 stretch they've gone over the last 19. What do you got today? Lay it on us.
So doing some research for the show, I was looking up some numbers on Bailey Ober, and this comes from our friends over at Inside Edge Baseball. Bailey Ober has a strike rate of 75% when he's behind in the count this season. Wow. So he's able to punch back. You know, he doesn't fall behind in an at-bat very often, and when he does, he's able to get himself back in a competitive position by just getting strikes, getting guys to chase out of the zone. That figure, that 75% figure, is the third highest among all starters in baseball. Right behind him in the fourth spot is Joe Ryan. So it kind of shows that those two are kind of the anchors of the rotation. You can put Pablo in there too. And part of the reason why is because they are able to remain competitive from at-bat to at-bat, pitch to pitch. And for the most part, we saw that from Bailey today. Even the hit that ended his day, he was ahead in the count at that point. It was an 0-2 curveball out of the zone. That's where you want it. And their hitter was just able to, float it over the shortstop there. So it is what it is, but it just shows how good Bailey Ober has been, even when the batter has the advantage.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So again, you lose today. Never feels good, but just in general, big picture, 16-3 in their last 19 now, Lou. Water cooler talk. What's the Twins group chat, text messages, what's the vibe in those rooms right now when you look at the AL Central and then where the Twins kind of land among that group?
Yeah, I think there's a few things that are being talked about at the water cooler. One of them is the health of some of their position players who are on the shelf right now and hopefully on their way back sometime soon. Sounds like Matt Wallner is going to need at least a few more games at the AAA level during his rehab process. So he's not going to travel with the team to Tampa Bay, but he is going to stick with AAA. I think they'll probably want him to play back-to-back games in the outfield. Unfortunately, some rainouts have affected that schedule in the last week for the Saints. And then Byron Buxton is not ready to come back yet, but he is going to travel with the team. So you got to think that he's just waiting for those last couple of tests to pass here. You never know with concussions, especially with somebody who has a history with them in the past, but the signs are looking good for Byron Buxton in that it looks like he's making progress. And if he's traveling with the team, that's a really good sign too. So that's one thing. And I think another water cooler topic has to be who I am calling the bottle rocket, Mr. Cody Clemens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he ended his streak today. He still got on base, but he ended his streak of 5 consecutive games with an extra base hit. He has just been stellar with this Twins turnaround, and hopefully he can keep it up at least for a couple weeks more until some of their stars return to play.
Boy, talk about a spark plug, man. I don't know if anybody listening watched the Timberwolves last night. Terrence Shannon Jr. was a big spark plug. Cody Clemens has been the spark plug for the Minnesota Twins that nobody saw coming. Don't go anywhere. Tampa Bay series preview, that's coming up right after this. quick reminder, today's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members to date. And for me and my money, it's just by far the easiest. It's the most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. And it's so simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, and you watch the winnings roll in. Could be strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, stolen bases, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, new 3-game series starts tomorrow. Tampa Bay. Chris Paddock gets the call for game 1. Number one thing you're thinking about or looking at as the Twins try to stay hot here versus Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay is also pretty hot. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're right at 500. They're in second place in their division behind the Yankees, just 5.5 games back. So they're going to be hungry for a win just as much as the Twins are here. The Tampa Bay Rays, they've always been pretty pesky, I feel like, you know what I mean? They're a low payroll team. They kind of chip away. They usually have really good pitching. I don't think they have any horse at the top of their rotation. They don't have a Tyler Glass now or a James Shields or, you know what I mean? Any of the aces that maybe we're used to seeing a Tampa Bay club have, but they're always going to be competitive, especially on the pitching side of things, just with how many guys they draft and develop. They're one of the best organizations at doing that. So hopefully the Twins get the bats that were here earlier in the week instead of the ones that showed up today.
Tampa, winners of 5 in a row as well, just pounced all over Toronto today, 13-0. So yeah, they are without a doubt, to your point, red hot for sure. What else is going on around the league? I haven't talked to you in a couple of days. 2 months into the season now, a little bit bigger sample size, but again, still a long way to go. What surprised you the most? Maybe one good, one bad, a specific player, specific team, whatever it may be.
Before getting to anything bad, I think there's something historic today that is occurring. O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates hit a home run 123 miles per hour off the bat. That's a StatCast record. It went out of the stadium into the river there in Pittsburgh. So he broke a record with that. Tarek Skubal of the Detroit Tigers pitched a complete game shutout of Maddox under 100 pitches, struck out 13, and on the last pitch of the game to get his 13th strikeout, he threw the ball 103 miles per hour. Also a record. That's the fastest pitch that a left-handed starting pitcher has ever thrown, at least recorded. So a pretty historic day when it comes to some of this StatCast information that's happening around the league here. So
hold on, fastest pitch a lefty's ever thrown, and he did it on the last pitch.
A lefty starting pitcher. Yep.
Wow. And he did it in the 9th inning, his last out. His last pitch of the game. And he's dominant. He's solidified himself as probably the best pitcher in the American League this year after winning the Cy Young last year. So he could be trouble. Detroit is dangerous, and he is a big reason why. So pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, and they beat Cleveland today. That's who he got his W over, right? 5-0 over Cleveland. Anything bad out there? Anything just surprising you? By the way, Phillies won 9 in a row as well. So they have the current longest winning streak in the MLB. The A's longest losing streak, 11 in a row. They're no Colorado Rockies right now, but the A's for sure. Anything bad, noteworthy that's just kind of been disappointed compared to your preseason expectations?
Boy, it's tough to say, but the Baltimore Orioles, after the last, 2 thumpings that the Twins gave them, they are I think they have the worst, tied for the worst record in the American League. They were looking like an AL powerhouse for the last few years. And they fired their manager. It's pretty bleak over there in, what do they call it, Charm City in Baltimore. So very tricky stuff for them. I did not see that coming in, unfortunately. They were looking fun last year. So who knows? Maybe they rebound, but it's looking tough right now.
Yeah, I thought they had a great farm system last couple of years. A lot of young pups coming up. Obviously, what is it, Jackson Holiday, right? Yep. Just a lot of young premium prospects. And yeah, again, they were in the thick of the East these last couple of years. And I look at the standings, 18-34, only a half game over the worst team in the AL, Chicago White Sox. Yeah. So not the company you want to be keeping right now in the AL if you're Baltimore. Twins can't bust out the Brooms. They lose in extras to KC 2-1, but still take down the series 29-23 now on the year. Huge shout out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers. And go check out all of Sweet Lou's work on X at Sweet Lou MN, plus all the work he's always putting up over at Zone Coverage MN.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Again, Tampa tomorrow, 6:05 first pitch. We got Chris Paddock on the mound. Catch you right here, same time, same place. But until then, signing out.